Let's talk dating with cancer. All right, so in my last video, I asked you guys if you had any questions, and a lot of you wanted to know what happened with the breakup. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of context about that first, and then I'm gonna go ahead and talk about what dating has been like now, jumping back into the dating scene. So let's start off with some context of when I was first diagnosed with cancer. I was in a brand new relationship. We hadn't even been together for like a year yet. And then I had posted this video a long time ago that was like, oh, my boyfriend stayed with me after finding out that he had stage 4 cancer. After finding out that I had stage 4 cancer. And then I discreetly just took it off my page. And I didn't really tell anybody. I didn't really talk about it. I had briefly mentioned it in one of my videos, but I didn't really want to upset anybody by the video. It was fresh news, and I didn't want anybody to be mad because this other person was trying to make a career off of like relationship advice and stuff. And I don't think that it would have looked very good for their business they were trying to grow, which is why I waited this long, I guess, to talk about it. I just didn't want to upset anybody. So anyways, basically, long story short, we were together for, I don't know, like 6 months prior to my cancer diagnosis, and everything was sunshines and rainbows. This is the person that I thought was going to be my forever person. And yeah, when I got diagnosed with cancer, it totally flipped our relationship upside down. The entire dynamics changed, and he was, I think, I can't say for sure, but I think he wasn't really like anticipating or expecting the journey to take as long as it was taking. And he was kind of in denial of the situation. I think like he just thought miraculously my cancer was just gonna like go away and I was gonna be this miracle story. And to some degree, I have been a miracle story, you know? And there's potential that I'll be no evidence of disease in the next, few months. And it's really exciting. But, back then, I guess in the first year of treatment, I didn't really know what things were going to look like for me. And I didn't feel like myself, and I was really down and I was really depressed, and I was going through a lot emotionally, and I hadn't really wrapped my head around the diagnosis, and it really did take a toll on the relationship. And he was very kind and considerate and compassionate at first, but one thing that I realized is that, compassion fatigue is real. So people that are going through, cancer, like, they're always, well, I can't say always, but they're kind of like always feeling it, like it's not something that just like goes away. It's something that like we're living through every single day. And when you have a significant other, like they might experience compassion fatigue because they're hearing about it every single day, and it's hard for them to be compassionate and empathetic every single day. And I totally understand that, and I don't hold that against anybody. And he was young too, he's only like 20, he was only like 27 at the time. And of course, like, his reasoning for breaking up with me was not about cancer, but I think that he was looking for a reason to kind of escape the situation. And again, this is just my perspective. There's always two sides to a story. But the real reason why he broke up with me is because he felt like I wasn't being supportive over like his life decisions, which the truth is I wasn't. He quit a good paying job, right after I was diagnosed, and he was offered like other jobs, and I was thinking about going on disability. We were talking about moving in together, and then he just like, quit his job to be a social media influencer. And yeah, no, like I wasn't really supportive over that. I thought it was kind of crazy, especially in the time that it was. And at that moment, what I really needed was support, and I didn't want to feel like I was gonna have to take care of somebody else during my time. And so I kind of expressed that. I don't know, I said express. Anyways, I kind of expressed that, and he was really upset about it. And, you know, I think there was just a level of immaturity also that was like falling into it, and kind of like the commitment scare, because we were supposed to like move in with each other. And I think both of us were feeling a little bit of that commitment phobia, if you were to say. But I think it really hit him in particular about like what it really meant to be with somebody with cancer. And again, this is just my personal opinion, right? Because there are always two sides of the story. You know, he sent very kind messages after the breakup saying, oh, nothing was my fault and everything like that. But it is hard going through cancer and then dealing with the breakup, because there is a part of you, or a part of me, I guess, that feels like things would have been different if it wasn't for the cancer. And there's part of me that doesn't feel worthy of a relationship because of cancer. And I know that that's not the way that I should think about things, and that's not the way that people have told me or anything like that. But it's just the reality of feeling a little bit less than, or kind of like damaged goods, I guess, if you want to say. But anyway, so that's the reason why we broke up. And this was a long time ago now. So this was near to like 8 or 9 months ago. So this was back in August, and it is May now. So it's been quite a bit of time since. So, you know, I fully processed through the breakup, and I am thankful that it happened now, because looking back, he wasn't the one for me. And, you know, that's okay, right? But about, I would say 6 months after we broke up, I was like, you know what? I think it is still important for me to find my person. I'm 30 years old now, and I'm ready to settle down with somebody. And I was so afraid, and I still kind of am afraid, to be honest with you, of jumping back into the dating scene. Like, it has been really challenging. And I thought that dating was going to be hard because I have cancer, which at the beginning it was for that reason, because you know, it's hard to be vulnerable with people. But I have realized that dating is hard because dating is hard. Dating is not hard because I have cancer. Dating is just hard because dating is hard. And you know, I think there was all of these things that went through my mind of like, when should you tell a person? How should you tell a person? And I kind of scoped it out a little bit. Like, I went on online dating, and I talked to this one guy, and before we even met, I told him, and then he kind of ghosted me. So I was a little bit like, oh, after that. But then I went on a few dates with somebody else, and this really taught me that it's okay that I have cancer. And we went on a few dates, and I called them up and I told them like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, I have cancer. So if you're going to be dating me, this is what you have to know. And they were okay with it. And we went on a few more dates after that. And, you know, the reason for us not continuing was not because I had cancer. It was just because they weren't emotionally ready they thought they were emotionally ready for a serious relationship, and they weren't. So that was a good experience for me, because I felt like, okay, this is somebody that knew that I had cancer and was okay with it at first. And they backtracked, but not just because I had cancer, just because they had stuff to go on within themselves, right? So that was a good learning experience for me. And it helped kind of break the ice of actually like going on a date with somebody and then having to tell them after that I had cancer. It was very hard. I had a full-blown panic attack prior to telling the person. you know, managing other people's reactions in cancer, like, is so hard because you're always afraid of like what they're gonna say, how they're gonna react, and then how to like manage their emotions after. So he handled it very well. So it was a good learning experience for me, and it took away that fear of having to tell somebody. So that's good. And then I went on a couple more dates with somebody else, but there was just no chemistry. And I did not tell this person that I had cancer, but there was just no chemistry. And that helped me realize that dating is hard because dating is hard, not dating is hard because I have cancer. And so I'm starting to really, you know, although I haven't found my person yet, of course, I'm stepping into the dating world. And I think I'm going to take it on as an approach of like, I tell them at whatever rate I want to tell them. If I don't feel like telling them at all right away, I won't. If I do feel like telling them right away, I will. I know eventually, like, I will have to tell them, right? Because that's something that they will need to eventually know, right? But I guess there's no rules to like when you should tell somebody or how you should tell somebody. But my thing is that like, I don't want to just wait till they feel blindsided. That's my only thing. Like, I don't want them to feel like they started, you know, gaining feelings for me, and then I told them this big thing, and then all of a sudden they're like, whoa, backtrack, you know? I don't want them to feel blindsided. So for me, I don't know when it is that I'm going to be telling the people. However, at least I know now that dating is hard because dating is hard. Like I said, dating is not hard just because I have cancer. And I think getting over that hurdle to begin with, I think was a big step for me, because it does change the dynamics. And I can't lie and say that like everything is the same now and dating is the same since I've had cancer. No, like, dating is different. There's a whole level of like vulnerability that comes along with a diagnosis like this, and that's okay. So if you're watching this and Google searching, like I was, dating with cancer, that's the biggest advice I would say, is just take your time with it and you'll find somebody. It'll be okay. And it's normal to feel scared, and it's normal to feel very vulnerable, and we're all in this together. And if I have a love story in the future, I will share it with you all. Brittany Beadle, she has an Instagram. She does have a love story. She was diagnosed really early. I think she was diagnosed at like 18 or something like that. And then she obviously found her husband after, and she told him right away, and they managed through it. So if you want to go look at her story, Brittany Beadle is her name. I'm not sure if she's on YouTube, but she's for sure on Instagram. But anyways, she was young and she found love, so we all have hope, right? All right, well, thank you for chiming in and watching it if you made it this far, and I will see you all next time. Bye.